It's the new just coming in, and this has got to do with the hearing on the Karnataka Hijab ban in Supreme Court. The hearing is ended, is what we know. Senior advocate Dushyant in court has said hijab adds to dignity, makes a lady very dignified when she wears it. Like a Hindu woman when she covers her head with the saree, it's very dignified. The Supreme Court says definition of dignified has changed with time. Interesting developments there from the top court, where Dushyant has said that the hijab in fact makes a woman look dignified. My colleague Anisha is tracking all of those details from court. Anisha, tell us more about the proceedings in court and what has been said by counsels from both the sides.
Well, Sneha, detailed hearings have happened in the Supreme Court since about quarter to 11 a.m. and just ended about 5 minutes ago at 4 p.m. The petitioners have concluded their arguments today. The arguments on behalf of the government of Karnataka have now begun. Now, senior advocate Dushyant in his arguments today, while concluding the arguments, has emphasized that the hijab is a symbol of dignity of the women, that it is something hijab is something that adds to the dignity of the women, it adds to the privacy of the women. And he compared the wearing of a hijab to a Hindu woman putting a dupatta or a sari pallu on her head, saying that women putting a sari pallu on her head. On the other side, of course, is the argument that has been raised by the government. Supreme Court has been hearing this matter for the last, today was day 8 of the argument. And Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, in his arguments today, in fact, brought in the issue that is currently going on in Iran. He said that hijab cannot be said to be an essential part of the religion, because even in the Islamic countries, there is an ongoing protest against the mandatory hijab, and therefore it cannot be said that hijab is a mandatory essential practice. Secondly, what the government is saying is that there was no problem with regard to the uniform prescribed in Karnataka PU schools since 2014. This issue has only been raised in the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, because there was a concerted effort by the Popular Front of India to get this kind of issue raised in social media and ask women, ask students to wear the hijab. Now, the government is also saying that prescribing a uniform is well within the power of the state, that there is a requirement of a uniform in school for the sake of discipline, and that the college development committees have been in place since 2013, and the formulation of the uniform and deciding on what the uniform would be was decided by the CBC in a meeting where parents and teachers and the administration were all represented. So the government is basically saying two things: that A, hijab is not an essential practice; B, that the schools have been their schools have prescribed uniform, and hijab has not been an issue for several years, and it is being created as an issue now. Thirdly, what the Advocate General for Karnataka is also raising this argument that that only an essential religious practice can be protected under the constitutional provisions, and hijab is not an essential practice. In fact, the Advocate General is raising this argument that the petitioners have said that you can protect all religious practices and all cultural practices under the constitutional principles of Article 25 and 29, which is a fallacious argument according to the Solicitor General and the Advocate General of Karnataka, because they say that only the essential religious practice, without which a religion's identity itself is compromised, only that is protected under the law, and hijab is one such thing. Now, arguments are set to continue tomorrow with the Advocate General of Karnataka to continue his arguments. A lot has been said over the last 8 days, and it is likely that the arguments could conclude tomorrow. Back to you.